We are live. We are live. Let's see. Let me share this video. Give me one moment, my beautiful brothers and sisters. In the meantime, enjoy my receding hairline. Alrighty. Okay, fine. I'll do it this way. 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 Give me 1 second, guys. Are y'all ready for this eclipse? I mean, I've already been feeling it. I started feeling it yesterday, actually. Oh boy, this eclipse is going to be intense. It's going to be intense. You already know. Hope that you all are enjoying the day so far. And beautiful blessings to everyone. Like I said, I've already been kind of feeling this eclipse. We'll get into the logistics of it and what, like, all the good fancy stuff as far as like the degrees and what aspects it's making and blah blah blah. Actually, if you give me just one moment, guys, I actually left one of my resources in the other room, so I'm gonna go grab that because I want to use that. So I'll be right back. When I get back, we will start officially with this. Until then, just enjoy my anime avatar here. Resources. Make sure we're good to go. Just about. Oh, okay. Haven't used this deck in a while, so that'd be cool. All right. What's going on, I'm Possible? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. What's going on, Sig? Good vibes. Thank you so much. Hope y'all light up that live chat. Y'all light it on fire. We'll set this stage ablaze. Woo! In any event, let's see what we got going on here. Did someone say party? Oh, we have Spells Inc. up in the house. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, guys, we're going to have a party. There's a good chance I may go live again tonight or maybe tomorrow morning or something like that. I don't know. It really depends. Kind of like an aftermath kind of video, but maybe tonight. I know there's probably quite a few people that are probably going live tonight as well. So that's why I'm going live a little bit earlier. So, oh, thank you so much, Impossible. I appreciate the share and like. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Let's give this one more shuffle and see what card that we get. No way. Of course. Naturally. Guys, we get the Fool card. We got the Fool. Look how he's just taking in the moment without a care in the world, with no attachments really too, because that's the thing about the Fool. The Fool really has no attachments. It's only attached to the present moment, the here and now, all that truly exists, because the past is done and all the future can do is come. So enjoy and revel in this moment, for it is beautiful and sacred. And then accept it with open arms. Welcome, Luck Holland. Excuse me, I said Holiday Holland. I think this is the first time I've seen you in the live chat, actually. So thank you for coming. View from Sydney is amazing. No clouds. Yeah, it's still daylight here. It's going to apex at around 5:30, I believe. So in about an hour, but it'll still be daylight here. So. Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And welcome to this Capricorn full moon lunar eclipse. Capricorn full moon lunar eclipse. As you can tell by the title, this is graduation. In many ways, Capricorn is about graduation. Capricorn is, the world card. And with lunar eclipses, well, with full moons in general, full moons are already pretty intense and crazy. And of course, the moon would prefer to be in Cancer, but we have it in Capricorn. But I've come to appreciate whenever the moon goes into a place that it doesn't necessarily like to be in. I've come to appreciate the moon in Scorpio. I've come to appreciate the moon in Capricorn. I've come to appreciate these places because they are super psychic in their own right. Obviously, moon in Scorpio would be super psychic, but moon in Capricorn really does tap us into the world story. And every single time that you get the full moon in Capricorn is when we release attachment to the world's story, to the world's sorrow and the world's pain and anguish. Simultaneously, it's not just the perceived negative emotions that we detach from, and the detachment becomes clearer when the moon goes into Aquarius following a full moon in Capricorn. That's when it becomes more apparent. But it's also going to be the positive emotions as well. Now, I'm not saying that this is not going to be a positive full moon or that you can't feel positive stuff. I'm just saying that full moons, as a release, this is when we begin to release ourselves from the world's drama and from a lot of the world's pain. But then what's left is we are able to see the good in humanity, the good in life, the good in this world. But also we need to detach from that as well, because the danger is that if we become complacent in these matters and we see like, oh, well, the world still works itself out, you won't really progress and advance, and we'll repeat the same mistakes. So while we have to release a lot of these negative associations or these negative emotions. In many ways, we cannot allow ourselves to become complacent on a lot of the positive things that have happened as well. Otherwise, we'll just keep repeating the same mistakes and we won't actually progress. But what's different with this full moon in Capricorn is that it is brought with an eclipse. And the South Node is here. So this is going to cause us further separation from not only the world's drama, but from eons of worldly drama. You think about the South Node, it rules the past, where we have come from, past lives. So we are healing so many worlds within one. And that's why this full moon is going to be rather intense and you're going to feel it. It's kind of interesting that it's occurring on a Tuesday. You know, I can only imagine what it'd be like if this was like the end of the week or something like that. But this is, at least here in America, this is going to be occurring during the day. So at least here on the eastern side of the United States, people are going to be getting off of work right when the moon is apexing. And it's going to be interesting to see how these things transpire. So, me too, Spelzink. I am releasing that habit as well. I am definitely releasing that habit as well. Yes, I have a staff. I love this thing. I have, I got this, where did I get this from again? I got it from some type of fair, I believe, but it has the eagle or a phoenix on top of it. I also have a wooden sword that I carry with me too. So I need, and what's funny too is that this right here was meant to be my pentacle. So I'm just gathering all of the things. So I have the staff, the pentacle, I have a sword. I don't know if I necessarily have the cup yet though. That's the thing. I had a couple things that I thought might have been the cup, but I don't know just yet. But in any event, you know, what's interesting about this full moon is that it really is going to be a grounding full moon, but at the same time, it's going to tug on so much. Full moons, they bring the tide up, they bring it in, they pull on the waters. So everyone's waters are being pulled on right now. And since this is Capricorn, even though Capricorn does rule the mountain, it's also the root. You know, it's also the root chakra, the base. So what's happening is that all of this moisture is being pulled up from the root of our being all throughout our body and out. It's kind of incredible, actually. And we are meant to expel this. We're meant to, you know, disperse this and allow this to leave our bodies. But what happens, this is, in fact, actually I have a really good depiction that I can show you right now. And I hope that you guys enjoy my drawing that I'm about to make for you all. To kind of give you an idea of what this full moon is doing. Now, so we have this individual right here. This individual is you. Now what's happening here is that this right here is the toroidal field, right? And what happens during eclipses is that the moisture, the water, because we are water, gets pulled from us and it's meant to be cleansed and healed, right? Now, some of this energy will come back into us. And the energy that comes back into us is really going to be based off of what's in our heart. It's going to be based off of our vibration. So what's going to happen is that everybody in the world right now is expanding. They're dispersing and expelling this energy through their crown chakra. Now, based off of your vibration and where you're feeling right now, determines what's going to go back into you. So you can choose to, if you expel this negative energy based off of where your vibration is at this moment or during this eclipse, because it's a Capricorn energy and it's a heavy energy too, it's an earth energy and it does rule the root chakra. There is a greater propensity with this eclipse for all kinds of energy, negative and positive, perceivably, right? Because it's all perception. But there is more of a possibility for negative emotions to be expelled, but to simultaneously go back into us. This is how we repeat mistakes, and this is in many ways kind of how karma works, in a sense. But I'm breaking it down in a very, very simple way. But there's a higher propensity for it. That which we give out will come back to us. So during this eclipse, if you choose to give love, if you choose to give joy, and if you choose to really continue to resonate in the space, because in many ways what's happening is, think of it like this. We are all taking like a sort of spiritual antibiotic, and antibodies or antibiotics, what they do is that they clear out our system, right, of not only the bad bacteria, but the good bacteria. And what happens? A lot of times they can make people perceivably sicker before they get better. What we have to do, what we have to be aware of, is that we have to feed ourselves those probiotics. So similar to this eclipse, when we expel all of this energy, the good and the perceivably bad emotions, or the higher vibrational emotions and the lower vibrational emotions, this is going to purge all of that. But it's incumbent upon us to refill and replenish our body and our space with those probiotics. And this is really going to be up to you. This is why I drew a heart on his star. I drew a heart on this star. I drew a star on his heart. Because it's going to be based off of what's in your heart to what you attract and will flourish through your body again. So this is really, really important. Why do you draw apples? Because apples are nice. So this is why this is very, very important to replenish ourselves. So just like an antibody or antibiotic that we take destroys the good and the bad bacteria, we have to understand that we're taking a sort of spiritual antibiotic right now that is going to purge our system. And it may cause some people to be a bit woozy over the next few days. But what's going to help you get through it is if you fill your space and your vibration with that which resonates with your heart's core and with your truth. So whatever it is that you really love to do, make sure that you set aside time and space for those over the course of the next few days, because the moon will be going into Aquarius. So it's going to oppose this Leo energy, it's going to oppose Mars. Then the moon will go into Pisces. And this is going to be a moment, of course, where you really want to take into consideration, this moon is going to trine over to all this Cancer energy as well. So there's going to be the healing will become more evident once the moon moves into Pisces, because trines bring miracles and they bring healing, right? So it's going to be very important for us to replenish ourselves over the next several days throughout the course of this week, because by the time the moon comes into Aries, I'm pretty sure by the time the moon comes into Aries, we will have the sun in Leo, and it'll be Leo season. And in many ways, this is going to be like how I kind of said that this is like a graduation point with this eclipse. After that, it's almost like after that, after this graduation and we're completing this new project, then we're going to be moving on to the credits scene, or we're going to be moving on to I guess you could say the red carpet, because Leo is kind of the red carpet, but I don't necessarily want to use a movie analogy. It's like with this, we're graduating. And then when it gets to Leo, it's almost going to have this vibe of the summer after graduation. All right, now what? So there's going to be parties, there's going to be celebrations, but there's also going to be a lot of, now what am I going to do? What am I going to do with my future? What am I going to do with my current moment? What am I going to do with my time? And it's going to be a lot of am I going to go to school? Am I going to go to work? Am I going to do this? Am I going to sleep with my parents? What am I going to do? What am I going to do after graduation? That's what we're really going to feel when the moon comes into Aries and the sun comes into Leo. But first, we have to purge. So with this purge, it's going to be tugging on multiple life streams because the South Node is here. So the South Node is actually going to be allowing us to tap into previous incarnations on this planet. Pluto is also helping along with this, and Saturn is helping along with this too. Now, what's interesting about this is that in order for us to truly progress as souls, we are only allowed a certain amount of memory from our past lives. Because if we remembered everything, we would not really be able to move forward. Not really. We're only allowed to remember a certain amount. We're not really allowed to remember the entire thing, although I think there are some anomalies where I guess some people might be able to channel it. But from what I can feel and I have come to channel and understand about past lives and all this sort of stuff, is that they are still past lives. And yes, there is certain trinkets of information from those past lives that are important, and that's why we keep them. That's why we even have a South Node in the first place. But at the same time, they are still in the past, so we can't really take them with us. And whenever you get full moons in Capricorn, it does, since Capricorn is ruled by Saturn and it's the Lord of time and karma, we do kind of go through this purge anyways. But eclipses take it to a whole nother level. Not only that, but we have to consider that the last time that this could have happened was like what, I guess like 18 or so years ago, and Pluto wasn't here, Saturn wasn't here. So, and like I said, the South Node is here, but Pluto and Saturn weren't here. Now Pluto and Saturn are here. So this takes things to a whole nother level. How literally with this moon, if you think about it, the moon is going to be at 24 degrees. I'll show you guys in the chart in a second, but the moon will be at 24 degrees. Pluto will be at 21 degrees. And then I think it's going to be Saturn and the South Node are right there. So in many ways, our emotions are really going to be digging deep. Let me just show you guys. It'll probably be easier for me to make this analogy if I just show you guys in the chart. So give me 1 second. Okay, so at approximately 5:30 p.m., we're going to get this full moon lunar eclipse. Now, let's see, the South Node is 17 degrees. Okay, so this is interesting. We are only allowed to retrieve small aspects and certain memories from past lives, because if we were to remember everything, we really wouldn't move forward, and it would honestly defeat the purpose of evolution. So with the moon here, what's really happening, especially with Pluto here, which rules death and rebirth, and then Saturn, which is time and karma, the moon literally is going to be kind of reaching back and then going through Pluto, death, so we can actually like emotionally tap in and intuit and reach back past death and birth cycles to reach the South Node, which will be at 17 degrees here. And then you have Saturn here. We can only go back so far. We can only go back so far. We're not allowed to know everything. We're only allowed to know certain parts. Now, each and every one of us will probably subconsciously tap into past lives, several of us multiple past lives on this day and over the next week or so. And like I said, we're probably going to play this out subconsciously. Some of us will become aware of it. If you're watching this video, you probably will become aware of it, but we will be able to reach back into this subconsciously. So this may come up through dreams and the sort like that, through meditations. But essentially, we are going to be healing multiple timelines and multiple incarnations with this lunar eclipse. Multiple. And the fact that we also have Venus opposing Saturn in all of this is no surprise as well, because this is about, we have to recognize the value in right now, because Venus is where the North Node is in Cancer. We have to recognize the beauty of right now and not necessarily focus so much on the past. And Saturn in many ways can rule, our efforts to succeed, not necessarily be focused on past efforts, not necessarily be focused on what has been destroyed in the past or even created in the past. Because if we worry about that, then, evolution halts and stagnates. This is why we in many ways are wired to just continually progress and progress. Things can't necessarily stay the same. So it's just like, think of it like this. Say you have a song artist, right, or a musician, and they write a hit song. And maybe that hit song, it can be great. It can be amazing. But over time, and not so much that people will forget the song, but they're going to be looking for the next new thing. So they can't just become stagnant on that one thing that they created. They have to evolve. They have to reshape. They have to morph into something else. They have to transform. Yes, you have one-hit wonders, and they're usually known for that one song, and that's all nice and dandy, but then that's their only lay to claim. So it's like, if you want to get better at something, and maybe, yeah, you do come out with a hit song or a hit novel or a hit whatever, but progress. So this moon is going to be teaching us that, in past lives, we could have achieved some level of great success. We could have done some great things, or we could have not done some great things. But are we really going to focus on those past efforts? Are we really going to focus on what happened before? So much to the point, there's nothing wrong with being proud of what we've accomplished. I'm not saying that, but there gets to a point where we become obsessed with it and we almost put it on a pedestal. How people can put their victories on a pedestal and people can put their failures on a pedestal. That's something that people don't really talk about. How you can become addicted to your failures. How you can become addicted to the fact that, okay, here's a prime example for me. I constantly get ideas for novels that I can write, but I've never actually have written and completed any of these ideas into a novel. I've never written one. And it's almost become a part of my personality. It's like, I'm a writer, but I can't seem to write a novel. I can't seem to actually physically manifest this. And this is something that I've been struggling with for pretty much my whole life when I discovered writing back in like 4th grade. And I've been getting ideas ever since then. Great ideas that could be turned into novels. Great ideas that I haven't really seen anyone do. Some of them I have actually seen channeled elsewhere, and they get turned into movies and stuff like that and stories. And I'm like, I had that idea, but the energy passed over me. And it's almost sort of like, do I want to always be this person who gets these cool, unique ideas but can never actually manifest them? Is that really going to be my lay to claim? It's almost like I can even feel how I have subconsciously put those failures onto a pedestal. And, you don't want to do that. So this is going to be, oh my God, I had to remove my headphones for a second because, yeah, he's hilarious. I agree, Sig. This is going to be a very powerful eclipse. It really is. And, just for me personally, of course, this moon is going to be sextiling my natal sun in Scorpio, and it's going to be sextiling my natal moon in Pisces. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be fun. And Mars is on top of my natal Chiron. So yeah, there's that. But really, this is a sort of eclipse where there's not too much more I can say about it, because really I want each and every one of you to have your own experience with this thing. Now, this is Capricorn, so this is going to be dealing with these type of themes, status, work, career, how we want ourselves to be seen in this world, how we deal with society. There's a lot of societal purging that's going to be happening over the next few days. Do not be surprised if we see certain, like, maybe CEOs of big companies step down, or we get new we just get new changes in power. People getting raises, people getting promoted, people getting demoted. There's going to be all sorts of things. There's going to be shifting within our societal spheres. Very, very powerful stuff. And it's definitely, I'm so in my jam right now. Awesome. I feel good. I'm not really focusing on what I haven't done. 444 in the chat. Yes, 444. 444. Excellent. Yeah, and that's the thing. We can't really focus on what we haven't done because we didn't do that. So the only memory that we have of those things is what we projected out into the future at that moment in our thoughts. But since they never actually happened, then there's no really need to focus on that sort of stuff. It's kind of self-defeating to really worry about that. So this full moon is going to tap everyone really hard into the present moment, especially it being an earth sign, especially with it being, contacted with Pluto here and Saturn, which are retrograde. This is certainly a giant review period. Even more so with this full moon, we're going to be kind of reaching back into our past and our past lives and healing these different aspects that may feel lost, because with the retrograde energy, this is talking about, this review period. And they're perceivingly going back. So in many ways, it's almost like our soul is kind of going back to retrieve parts of itself that it lost. Going back to retrieve parts of itself that it lost. Let me get off that. Now, I want to talk to you all about this anime, one of my favorite animes that I've been watching. I'm actually watching 3 animes at the current moment. I was watching Soul Eater, and then I stopped because I'm in the last season, and I have maybe I don't know, I think I maybe have 5 or 6 episodes left, and that honestly depressed me. And I'm like, I don't like finishing good animes because I get really sad when I do. So anyways, there's Soul Eater, which is awesome. You all should definitely watch that. And then I started watching this other anime. It was like something about Grand Crest. So it's essentially like Guild Wars. It's like a bunch of guilds and countries warring and fighting and shit like that. And then I started watching one of my favorite animes, which I've already seen 3 or 4 times already before, Angel Beats, because they recently re-added it back to Netflix. They added to Netflix every other year or something like that. And on this, Angel Beats. I swear, every single time I watch this anime, not only do I cry, I almost cried today watching it. I'm not finished with it. I have a few episodes left. I almost cry, but I always learn something new. And what I've learned is that, and I don't want to give away too much of the show, but essentially the main character is transported to this purgatorial type of world. And it's sort of like this in-between space where the individuals that go to this world weren't able to complete certain things in their life that would have made them feel fulfilled. So they go to this realm, they lose their memories, they become amnesiacs, and they're kind of fighting against their fate because they find it to be cruel. And it's a very powerful anime of accepting one's past and one's fate. It's like I believe in an element of destiny and fate, but I also do believe in choice and free will. And fate in many ways, I like to think of it almost as kind of ruled by Saturn and karma and time, because all these timelines exist on top of each other, including future timelines. But we do have something called choice, which is very, 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 very powerful. And here's the thing with this full moon. Not only are we in this current moment reaching back to previous lifetimes, or reaching back to even previous lifetimes within this lifetime to retrieve parts of our soul so we may feel more whole, there are future iterations of us that are doing the same thing to us now. So they all exist on top of each other. And I mentioned this show, Angel Beats, because it has taught me that Sometimes we hold on to the husk of what we once were. Sometimes we hold on to these memories. Sometimes we hold on to empty cartridges. I'm seeing like for some reason I'm seeing like an empty carton of eggs, right? And what's interesting is that a carton of eggs usually holds like what, 12 standard usually. I think a lot of times we hold on to these empty husks of who we once were because we have such fond memories with them. But they are just a husk. And really, ultimately, holding on to these memories doesn't really give us any type of fulfillment. Not really. And in the show, what happens is that people get obliterated. And obliterated essentially means that they graduate from that world and they made peace with their situation, they made peace with their past, and they're able to move on. We are all getting obliterated in a sense, where we are making peace with what has happened to us before. We are making peace with the trials and tribulations of our past. We are making peace with what has been created and destroyed in our lives. And this is a time for us to move forward and to embrace this current moment and to accept it and to just realize that, hey, I'm here and I'm here. Like, what else is there to it? Like, I'm here. I can make a change. I have the power of choice right now. And that's incredible. I think one thing with this full moon is that it's actually going to give people the power of choice back. Because even though Capricorn is a naturally sort of restrictive kind of energy, it simultaneously can free us, which is interesting to say. I say this mainly because I have Uranus conjunct Neptune and Capricorn in the second house. So it's like I look at this Capricorn energy from a different angle. But there is this sort of element where we are being given choice. You know, we are being given this opportunity to make a change and to do something different. And really, the best thing that each and every one of us can do is simply believe that they wouldn't be here right now if they weren't meant to be, if there wasn't something more for them, you know. In many ways, a lot of us are getting obliterated. We are getting, some of us, our dreams are getting obliterated. Some of us, you know, what we thought we wanted to do is getting obliterated. For some of us, you know, what we thought we should have been doing, or even things that we didn't want to do, but we've committed ourselves to them out of obligation, those are getting obliterated. And like I said, by the time that the moon comes into Aries and the sun comes into Leo, there's going to be a focus back on self and what it is that really sets your heart on fire. What is it that sets your soul on fire? So it's like, that's why I recommend over the next few days to do things that really make you feel like a kid again and really get you into your heart space, because that's going to be the probiotic that we put back into our system, into our space, so we may manifest, you know, these next 6 months, which are going to be very powerful. These next 6 months, by the time that we reach, you know, the new moon in Capricorn, you know, and I believe there will be an eclipse there too. I believe that'll be like the last eclipse of this whole cycle, with the North and South node being in Cancer and Capricorn respectively. Nice spell sync. Hold on, let me show it. Look at which house Capricorn is in your heart and realize how fucked you are. Back. Guess we are going to break windows the next couple of days. You know what I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to take a bat and beat up a car. Ever since I saw it at like a fair where someone brought like these junky cars, you can grab like a bat or a sledgehammer and just smash the car. I always thought that would be freaking cool, just to let out some frustration and stuff like that. Not even just frustration, just like it just seems fun to do. Anyways, do it, right? I have to first find like a junk car to do that to, because I'm not doing that to my car. I am not going to do that to my car. Oh yeah, my shirt says "Get over here," by the way. Yeah, get over here. let's read the inside the degrees for 24 degrees of Capricorn. And let's also read 24 degrees of Cancer because that's where the sun is. But let's read Capricorn first because that's where the south node is. Okay. Let's see. All right, Capricorn 24 degrees. All right. Okay. Stalactites and stalagmites almost grown together. Super tight fit, custom designed by destiny, tailor-made. The individualist carving out unique karmic arrangements to bear you across a difficult passage. A journey undertaken under peril, a secret assignment withheld even from your conscious self, cloak and dagger. The thoroughly veiled soul, the enigma of destiny. The secret instructions are writ upon your innermost being, and you know them implicitly. Silent, circumspect, withheld. Super disciplined, guarded, and private, sworn to secrecy. And inside all of this, secret brotherhoods and cosmic streams send their emissaries to take up incredible tasks and think nothing of it. Woo! If that doesn't pretty much scream light worker, like that's honestly the word that came up. And I don't even necessarily like the term light worker, but that's really what came through. It's like having this incredible spiritual responsibility to carry. And Capricorn is about responsibility, right? And just like we're only allowed to associate with certain people. That's why certain people are brought together through karma and through fate. So this is funny how that was talking about more about the destiny and fate aspect and how each of us are carrying out our mission in many ways subconsciously. So it's like, you know, and we're only we get like these little snippets of like awareness and consciousness, and those snippets are incredible. But it's sort of like, you know, sort of like an iceberg, right? You have the conscious and the unconscious or subconscious. So it's like, yes, this spot up here, there's a lot that can happen here because that's where the sun is, you know. So you're more exposed to the sun, but the further and further you go down, the darker and darker it gets. But that doesn't mean that that light can't necessarily reach down there. It's merely transformed. It takes on a different form. So it's like that's in many ways what's happening here is that like those of us on this path, we really are we're like carrying out this mission, and each and every one of us deep within us, you know, we have this purpose and this light to bring forth. But what happens with being a light worker is that you have to understand, though, if you're a light worker, you work with light or you're creating light, you have to understand that you have to go where no one's gone before because it's dark there. Because if you go where people are, there's light. There's nothing else really to be created. You know, you're following someone else. That's really what it is. It's like you're following someone else. So with the light worker, we really are in many ways these experimental vessels where it's like we're being taught how to go into these dark spaces, which is just a perception, of course, and create light and to work with that light and have that light, you know, create stars and planets and galaxies and blah, 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 blah. But it's like the only way that we can go into that darkness is if we really do trust ourselves, and then we have to tap into our subconscious. And that's the great thing about the moon. The moon helps us to tap into our subconscious. The sun helps us to tap into our conscious. The moon helps us to tap into our subconscious. So of course you want to see where your natal moon is and how it's aspecting this energy, and of course where the house your natal moon is compared to where this moon is, and see in many ways, you know, where that lines up for you and stuff like that. Some of us are going to have, and here's the thing about how deep these waters may go. or here's like this can be an indication of how deep they go, is to see how far apart those houses are, you know, and also like where they are as far as like, you know, first, second, third house. So say for example, you have your natal moon in the third house, and then this eclipse is hitting you in the sixth house, which I guess that would make you what? That'd make you a Libra moon, right? I guess no, yeah, it would make you a Libra moon if this Capricorn eclipse was in the sixth house, which would make you what? That make you a Leo rising, right? How did I even pick that? Anyways, we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. Anyways, say that you are a Leo rising with the Libra moon, and this is hitting you in your sixth house. So you want to look at the houses in between your third and sixth house and see, you know, what's important there and what's, you know, going on. So did I get that right? Third, fourth, fifth. I gotta make sure that I got that right. Yeah, I did get that right. Just making sure. It kind of can let you know how big the iceberg is and how deep that you have to go. Also, take for example me. I have my moon in the fourth house in Pisces, right? And then this eclipse is happening in my second house in Capricorn. So I only have one house in between it. That doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have a lot of ground to cover or a lot of water to swim through, or that doesn't mean that's not deep. Maybe you are a Capricorn moon and it's like hitting you right on the spot, but it kind of lets you know, like, to the sort of energy in the space that you're working through, the space that you're having to traverse. It lets you know a little bit more about that. Hello, I'm the Leo rising Libra moon sixth house Cap. Hey, yo, yo. You see how I channeled that? You see how I straight channeled that? That's crazy, Alpha. Wow, I did it. How did I do that? The likelihood of it happening, because there's only 5 people watching right now. But the likelihood that I would pull that, the Leo rising, Libra moon, sixth house Cap, like that's really interesting. That's so crazy. I love it. On that note, let's read 24 degrees of Cancer. There's a lot of Leo risings around, man. That's awesome, though. Leo risings. All right, let's read Cancer 24 degrees. A single crumbling Corinthian column. The inward temple held in tune, sitting in celestial juices. Oh. Sitting in celestial juices, it really almost feels like the galaxy is like in a mixing bowl and someone's like about to bake a cake or something. Beheld by the gods as a pillar of light. Remember how I was talking about light workers earlier? Beheld by the gods as a pillar of light, defiant of time cycles, invested with the life pulse immortal, as serene and effortless as it is constant and true, making way for what cannot be foreseen. Making way for what cannot be foreseen. So future telling and trying to predict the future kind of goes out the window. This really taps you into the present moment. And giving voice to a sensibility that it is entirely pregnant with worlds within worlds held intact and offered up upon the altar of the world stage. The world stage, Capricorn. I can't really say it any better myself, guys. This is legit. This is a powerful moment in time where so many things are coming to a head. This is such a graduation point for multiple aspects of our being. Multiple aspects of our being are going through this graduation. And it's going to be like, we're all going to be like, it's almost like in each and every one of us, there's like an auditorium of these aspects, and they're being called up. And it's like, it doesn't matter if one aspect of us is the valedictorian had a 4.0 and another aspect of us has a 1.0 or a 2.0 or whatever like that, and they weren't really involved in clubs, whatever like that, and they may have even been a bully or whatever, but they still are graduating. All of these aspects are graduating, which means that when we graduate, we're leaving behind, we just have the memories now, but we're leaving behind the hard work, the tribulation, the work and efforts of these past years while we've been in this school. And it's time to move forward. All aspects of us, all of these aspects of us, each and every one of us, I want you to almost see it as this sort of auditorium with all these different versions of yourself. And every single one of them are graduating. Every single one of them are graduating. Some of them may have had to take makeup tests for their finals just to make it. Some of them may have just kind of scooted by and not really done much. Some of them may be the most popular, one of them's the most popular person in school, One of them is not necessarily so popular. You got ones in the drum team, the chess team, the debate team, the newspaper club. Some of them are getting scholarships to play sports in college. You see how I'm going with this? This is a long-winded metaphor, but I'm trying to show you that all of these aspects of you are graduating and are gaining this upgrade. So it's very intense and very powerful. And I will go ahead and say this too. There was a scene in the anime that I was watching in one of the episodes where this individual had a bunch of different copies of herself. And all these different copies of herself were quote unquote evil or bad. But there was this program that was written where all these copies would morph back into her. So she absorbed all of these different copies of herself, and it kind of sent her into this. It sent her and essentially made her sick, and she went to the infirmary and stuff like that, right? Because she absorbed all of these different personalities, and most of these personalities were trying to kill off the main cast. But when she awoke, she was her normal self. So it's almost like, and she even said it was a battle, but then she came out on top. So it's like there's going to be this element in many ways where this interview that we put out, I guarantee you that every single one of us are going to absorb some type of what we may perceive as a negative version of ourselves. And it's going to be up to us what we do when that version reaches the heart space. Are we going to have compassion and show unconditional love for that aspect of ourselves so that it may be healed? So then when it comes back out through the crown, then they can be freed and they can be at peace. And then we'll get the gifts of what that aspect of ourselves was trying to teach us about who we are. We'll get the gift of it. But we have to go through this period where we have to expel it. But then it's like, yeah, there is going to be this battle where we are going to be fighting with ourselves. I'm going to say this, all of the fighting that we see in this world is nothing in comparison to the battle within who you are in your being, the battle that you have with yourself. All of the wars, all of this stuff over the course of the entirety of human history pales in comparison to the battle within your own heart and that you have with yourself. Pales in comparison to it. But even through that battling, you manage to smile, to laugh, to love, to fall in love, to fall out of love, to express joy, passion, happiness, courage, bravery, commitment, compassion, discipline. All of these things still come out of it. The revolution, yes, I'm possible. As I'm possible said, the revolution is within. You want to know how to fix the world's problems and all this fighting, we have to fix the inner fighting first. It's an inner battle. It's a battle on the inside. And what's great about this lunar eclipse full moon in Capricorn is the fact that since Capricorn is in many ways about the world stage, how we can be all so emotionally concerned about everyone else, a full moon's already releasing it, so we're releasing our attachment to this drama, which will become more apparent in Aquarius. But then it's a lunar eclipse on top of that. So it's like we literally we're like literally just like the universe has like put us under like the sleeping gas, whatever like that. It's like, all right, count backwards from 100. Before we can even mutter 100 when we're counting back, so we fall asleep, we're like, whoa. And we're out. And the universe is like in there, just like, all right, like. But the way I see it, almost is like it's almost like a DJ like mixing stuff, like DJ like doing the tracks, whatever like that and stuff, and messing with all these little knobs and everything like that. That's what the universe is doing to us. But it's like an open heart surgery in many ways. It's an open heart surgery, especially when you think about it like this. Cancer does rule the chest. Cancer does rule the chest. This is like an open heart surgery for real that spirit and the universe is doing on us. That's why a lot of this has to be subconscious, because if we were really that hyper aware of all of these different realities, we would really go insane. And I already am insane, but we would go seriously insane. That's why we're only allowed to know certain trinkets and pockets of our past lives. And even if you think about it in this life, if you think about your memories, you don't remember every single thing about this life. You don't. You have certain memories that stand out, but you don't remember everything. So the fact that even if we look in this life, if we don't remember everything from this life, how are we going to remember every detail of these past lives? Why be insane if you can be outsane? Free the cancer nipples. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, there are a lot of Leo risings. I've been coming to notice that a lot of the people, at least within this community, or just even people that know people within this community, whether it's like family members and stuff, a lot of people are Leo risings, and it's like, wow, this is actually kind of cool. Like, it's interesting. For me personally, I don't have a lot of Leo energy. I have Chiron there, so yay! I got the wounded healer in Leo. Yay! So, but you know what? There's honestly not that much more I can say about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw one more card, and then we're going to get out of here. I probably will. I may go live tonight. I'm not sure if I'll go live again tonight, but I do appreciate you all joining me. The lunar transit videos will be coming back soon. As soon as the moon goes into Aries, I'm going to be doing that. Again, I have been doing daily tarot card pulls on my Instagram, which I'm not sure if it's linked in the description, but if not, I'll go ahead and link it. I haven't done it the past couple of days. I've been doing quite a bit of purging over these last few days and stuff like that. So I also have, well, I have one idea that's not just going to stay an idea because I'm actually going to manifest this, but I'm not really going to say what it is, but it is related to this eclipse, and this will be available very soon. This is something I'm going to work on this week and hopefully get out by the end of the week, so it can become a service to you all, and that's something I'm really excited for as well. And I am still running a sale on my website for all of my services. So if you would like to get a reading with yours truly, we can look at the planets and the energies and these celestial bodies to see how they're influencing you, so you can reclaim your superpowers, reclaim your art and your mastery, and move forward and make very powerful decisions in this lifetime, very powerful choices. I like choices better as a word. But if you'd like to get a reading with yours truly, my link is in the description below. I am running a sale on my services. I would love to speak with you all, work with you. But let's see what we got. Wow. Interesting. We have the 5 of bows, or the 5 of swords. You see how he's looking into the mirror? It's almost like he doesn't recognize himself. But you see how there are other different versions of himself in that mirror as well? So this is in many ways what's happening. We're looking into the mirror of our life, and we're seeing versions of ourselves that we may not necessarily be proud of. We may even look into the mirror right after this broadcast and be like, you know what, I could do better. I can do better. But were you going to really focus on those past choices in the past? Because the past is the past. All that's here is the present moment. The future will come. The past is done. The future will come. The past is done. What about now? And that's really what this is about. So don't become your worst enemy, and don't steal from yourself, because that's usually what the Five of Swords shows. It shows an individual who's like won on the battlefield and has like taken over, or maybe even has stolen. Even though stolen is really more like the Seven of Swords. But in this case, I'm really feeling like it's like, don't steal from yourself. Don't rob yourself. Don't rob yourself of this present moment. This is not really a time to try and predict the future or to try and just focus so much on the future. And this is not really a time to get too caught up on what's happened before, whether it be good or bad. Am I saying to not have fond memories and think back on, oh, that was such a nice time, whatever like that. But if we get too caught up on it, then we won't be able to create that positive energy right now. We won't be able to create it. We'll be shut off from it, you know? So we are looking into the mirror of life. You want to like, it's like close your eyes and you open up. It's like, wow, look at this mirror. And also when you close your eyes, that's a mirror too. So it's like, you know, that darkness that you see, quote unquote darkness, that's a mirror as well. That's a mirror as well. And it's interesting because I have this light right here. So right now it's not really black. It's more of like a reddish, purple, whatever. I put my hand over, then it gets a little bit darker. But this is a mirror as well. And then I open my eyes, I'm like, wow, look at this giant mirror. It's like we're walking through a fun house with all these glass mirrors around us. So are we really gonna rob ourselves? Are we gonna punch ourselves? Are we gonna stab ourselves? You know what I mean? Are we really going to do that to ourselves? Or are we gonna be like, yo, I have my entire family here. We got the crew up in the house. That's how you gotta treat this. It's like, you know, we got him over here, we got her over here, we got all these different versions. Yo, we got the crew, we got the tribe. Everyone in the world is looking for their tribe. And you have to understand that you are a tribe unto yourself. And all this inner fighting needs to cease, man. It needs to cease to exist. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. I love you all so much. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining. And I will definitely be seeing you all later. I'm really excited for what's to come. But, you know, take your time with this eclipse. Do your meditations. Cry if you have to. I'm probably going to cry sometime with the next 24 hours. You know, and make sure to replenish yourself. Make sure to fill your heart with joy these next few days. Remember to fill your heart with joy. Even if people don't necessarily understand that joy, it doesn't matter. And I'll be blunt, fuck them. Like, you don't have to like necessarily completely axe them out of your life if they don't get it, but fuck them. Fuck them in that moment. Just like, screw it. If it brings you joy and if it replenishes you, if it fills you up, if your soul is happy and you're smiling from within, that's all that fucking matters. And just remember to do that. Remember to integrate that into your daily life somehow. Remember to integrate that. And have fun with this eclipse. Happy purging, happy healing, and I will see you all next time. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.